that better? Okay, so again, you divided your paper into 6 squares and we're drawing this cube. So again, you want to start by the face of your square. And then what's our next step? What do we need to do?
Draw lines to the vanishing point.
Yes, your lines are going to go to your vanishing point. So you decide on how wide your shapes are going to be. The longer your lines are to the vanishing point, the wider it's going to be. And then what's our next step?
Connect the lines.
You're going to connect the lines, but what do you want to make sure the lines are to the lines that they're next to? What's that word?
Parallel.
Do you want them to be parallel? Yes. So parallel means that they are the same direction as the line they are beside. And then if you have any lines that are going past your sides, you want to erase those. And it's always a good idea for you to draw lightly so that way you can make you can erase those lines easily, because you can kind of still see mine since I'm drawing dark for you. Alright, I'll give you guys a second to catch up, and then I'm going to show you how to do a hole through this cube to make it look like there's a hole all the way through the back. Okay, so if we want it to look like there's a hole through here, then what we need to do is draw a square inside the square and keep the lines parallel to the first square that you guys already made. And then what do you think our next step is going to be? Anybody know?
Draw the lines to the vanishing point.
Where do we start that line at?
In the smaller box.
Where
Smaller
at?
square. In the corners.
In the corner. Okay, remember when we do perspective, if it looks like it's going through the shape, do we use that corner? So would I connect this corner to the vanishing point? No. We only want the corner to go to the vanishing point if it's not going through the shape. If it starts to go through the shape on the side, then we need to stop when we get to that side. And so I drew this bottom right corner to the vanishing point, but I stopped when it intersected that top line. And then if I want it to make it look like I can see through on this back spot, then all I would do is draw some parallel lines here. And erase this part of the line. Now it looks like I can see all the way through that square. I kept those lines parallel to that square we drew. Do you want me to show you that again? Okay. Erase these lines. So we have your diagonal line going to your vanishing point. We can draw a line between that diagonal line and it stops when it hits this line. And then we do the same thing. We start at the diagonal line and then we stop when it hits this top line. And then I erase out the diagonal inside that little box. Then it looks like this is the background. It's no longer the box. Neat. I love when you guys get so shocked, like, oh my gosh. The next shape we're going to do is a sphere. A sphere is a three-dimensional circle. What makes a sphere three-dimensional?
The shading.
The shading of it. So, to start, and when we do our projects, I will pass out compasses, which make circles. But in the meantime, you guys can just kind of freehand a circle. I know it's probably not going to look perfect. But I'm going to show you guys how to slice the sphere. And then we'll be shading later. Go ahead and draw a circle. And for the circle, we don't need our vanishing point until we start shading. So when we start splitting the sphere, what we want to do is we want to decide how we're going to split this. So for this case, I want you to draw some curved lines across your sphere. You want to keep them curved so that way it looks like it's going with the contour of the sphere. And what are contour lines? Who remembers what those are? Anybody remember? Remember, contour lines are just your outlines. They go along with the shape of your object. So we want to keep those lines with the shape of our object. And then I'm going to do another one right here. But with this one, I'm going to make the curves look like it's on the top of that sphere. Don't worry, it's going to start looking different once we start making more lines and erasing. Are we rusty on perspective here? No? You remember? Okay.
I've done it since freshman
Yeah. Okay, so with the slice part, Lane, are you still drawing? I don't want to move ahead and you be confused. Okay. Alright, so with the sphere, you want to go from this corner where these lines connect and you want to continue that curve, and then we're going to stop when we get to this top line. Then we erase the side of that circle. And we round it off. Now do you see how it looks like two separate pieces right here? And you're going to do that to the other side. And then you just continue down and do that on each side. Think of the circle as a guideline. And then to make this middle part seem like it has a side on it, we're going to draw another curved line. And then you're going to draw a line down to connect it. And then erase any lines that intersect. And now this slice has a front side of the sphere. Draw a little darker so you guys can see it. Doing okay? It's just practice. You guys are going to do lots more practicing. And then with this top one, since it's laying on top of it, all we're going to do is do another line below it. And then when we start shading, this is what's going to make this look like this part here is hovering over the top of it. So just going to do another little circle. I think I want to bring this down a little bit more. You can always make adjustments anytime you need to. Does anybody have any questions on the sphere? What we're doing right now is we're just going to draw all the shapes, and then tomorrow we'll finish up the shapes and then hopefully start shading. there anybody still drawing? Okay. So our next shape is called a torus, which looks like a donut. So all it is an oval inside an oval. Make this a little darker for you guys. Now with the torus, you can't use a compass to make it. Just gotta be free-handed. Now, to slice a torus, it's similar to slicing the sphere. So we're going to decide where our slice marks are going to be. And I'm going to draw the contour lines. And then I'm going to draw another contour line next to each line I drew. And then to make it look like it's a slice, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the sphere, and I'm going to go from this corner where it meets, and I'm going to round it off. And then erase those lines in between. Now it looks like it's a cut donut. So you round it off. And then erase the lines in between. Now, depending on which way you put your curves depends on what side of the donut you see. If we would have made our curves the opposite way, we would have curved this the opposite way. Let me know if you need any help. We're a smaller class, so it's easier for me to get around to you guys. Next shape we're going to do is our cylinder. So with your cylinder, you can start by drawing your top oval. Remember, you don't want it to be a circle because it depends on your viewpoint. And then you're going to draw 2 lines down and then the curved end of the bottom of the cylinder. Now, this is the same process as the sphere. You want to draw your lines, decide where you're going to slice it. I'm going to put two lines next to each other so that way I have the spot where it's sliced and then the edge. And then again, all you do is round it off where it's sliced and erase where it intersects. Once you get the hang of this, it's going to be easy for you to slice your shapes. You just have to think about where they're going to slice and where they're curving, or if they're curving. If they're not curving, that means they're going to be like a rectangular or a cube or a triangle, pyramid. Is everyone doing okay? Okay, the next shape I want to show you is your cone shape. So with the cone, you're going to start it out like a triangle. And then the bottom has a rounded off edge. Then again, it's the same process as the sphere and as the cylinder. You make your lines where you want the object to split, and then you curve off those edges. Remember, you're staying with the contour of the shape. And then you just round it off and erase those lines. And they're going to really look more three-dimensional once we start shading them. probably have time to do one more shape. Okay, so with the pyramid, what you want to start off with is 2 parallel lines, and then you're going to have diagonal lines that connect the side. And then each corner is going to come up into a triangle. And then you connect this other corner. Then after you have this pyramid, then you can erase these guidelines back here. Let me show you that again. Okay. So you're going to start with a line here and a line here. So I started by drawing 2 parallel lines. Then I drew 2 parallel lines. And then I drew a triangle connecting to the corner. And then I connected the top triangle to that corner. And then after I have it all connected, then I'm going to erase these lines, and now I have a pyramid shape. And we're going to stop here. We'll slice this tomorrow. You guys can put these papers in your portfolio. Don't forget tomorrow's SSR. Make sure you bring a book.